rolling. All right, all right, all right. I love Matthew McConaughey. I think we should get married and have babies, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, this is my vlog for Spectrum Support. I'm not doing any product reviews because I'm saving that for my No Labels vlog. So today's topic, I'm kind of going to pace myself today. I kind of waited till a little bit later to give myself more of a time restraint because my son, he just has a little bit till he's supposed to get off of school. So that will keep me within my time frame, because sometimes I get to talking. I get like really into what I'm talking about. Even though I know it might come across as boring or whatever, but this is meant to be solely informational for people that are like actually caring about these topics. So I really don't care. Moving on. Oh yeah. So with my son recently, I wanted to bring up randomly on this vlog here. Like, I'm a person that's always learning things and trying to grow, and like I learn from other people, I learn from things that I read and stuff like that. So for my son's school, the teacher had started showing him like giving him, I guess like in his free time, she lets him watch Gracie's Corner instead of Coco Melon, which is what I was having him watch before that because it seemed to be educational. But I noticed as I started incorporating that, I did like a little experiment or whatever. When I let him watch Gracie's Corner after school versus Coco Melon, it seemed like he's more calm. And then when he's watching Coco Melon, which is supposed to be educational also, it's sort of like all over the place and mentioning just topics all over, and I was like, dang, this is like kind of hard even for me to follow, so it's like cramming stuff in there and stuff like that. And then I don't know this for a fact, you know what I'm saying, this is not a fact, this is just like per opinions. Someone I knew was watching a podcast that confirmed that, and that person that was doing the podcast had read somewhere, or there was like some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of research behind that, but per that person, in their opinion, I'm not sure, but they were saying that that it like promotes or highlights symptoms of like ADD or ADHD, which is under the umbrella diagnosis of autism for my son specifically. So anyways, I have noticed a difference within his just in general demeanor, because Gracie's Corner is sort of like, it sticks to one topic per song. So like one educational topic per song. It's very like slowed down and like clear, concise, and but repetitive in those things. And then he's also been making a variety of different noises and sounds, because as I've said before, he's 16. He's completely nonverbal, and but he says right now he's been saying about like 4 or 5 short words. So, and he's been making a lot of sounds like ba 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 ba. He's been saying mom. He said yeah. He says yay. But it's really cool because like his teachers have said the same thing. So I'm noticing it a lot more as I've been letting him watch Gracie's Corner. He loves music because I love music, and so he has been learning through music, similar to me. I think I learned how to read basically, well, not originally learned how to read from that, but I learned how to read more quickly because I started doing karaoke when I was little, and like the words come across the screen, and it's sort of similar to like sight words, you know what I'm saying? Because if you practice the same song over and over and over again, you start to recognize the words that are in that song. But anyway, so the topic for Spectrum Support today is creating new goals for your child with autism, or for your loved one with autism. So, I guess like I would say, I'm just gonna go over the material that I kind of like took notes on. It's gonna be kind of like free flow. So like if I kind of go a little bit here and there, just give you a little bit of grace. So if your child's in school, then they usually have like, the people at the school usually have a pretty good idea of where they're at, in like what level they're at in each subject. So for me, during the summer, like this summer, what I'm going to focus on is trying to continue to support those age milestones of the levels of every subject that he's on right now, and just trying to continue that to keep it, up to date, so that he doesn't have regression. And for my child, that's really important for me because he's moved a lot throughout TPS because because their autism program hasn't been always been as organized as one would like. So this is his first year with the teacher that he has at the school that he's at. Hopefully it will stay that way because she's a very, very, very talented teacher. She's taught him a lot just through this past year. She's worked with him on a lot of things. Of course, you have to be able to gain that rapport. So for a kid to be moved and moved and moved and moved and shuffled, they're always trying to regain a new baseline of what his comprehension is. So it'll be halfway through the year already, and they're just now getting to know him. So anyways, I'm going to use that, what they say, that where they say he's at on all the subject, as a baseline of just, I guess, busy work throughout the summertime to keep him where he's supposed to be at. So there'll be like 1 to 2 hours per day in the summertime of schoolwork, to keep him in habit and encourage, like, not regressing, but also just to occupy time, like I said, like busy work, so that they're not stagnant and become bored throughout the day. Because summertime, it can get pretty, like, every day could start to blend into the next day, sort of, if you don't have a routine established ahead of time, which is why I always try to have, like, at least a baseline of a routine all year, including the summertime. But I try to add in extra things in the summertime because I know that at school he's used to being occupied by the lesson plans and by the daily activities that they have incorporated in school. So, but usually when school is in, I try to add in new things still each week, such as in hygiene, he's learned to brush his own teeth, because in autism there's a thing called like dexterity, that sometimes dexterity in the fingers, like the small fine motor skills, can be off a little bit. So he might just be like this, like just kind of seeming like he's being lazy or something, but in reality he's been practicing on his finger strength, and finally he has done it to like a decent, like he puts a decent amount of pressure on his teeth to brush his teeth by himself. But I do it 1 time a day for him, so that I make sure and get everywhere and floss. And then he does it 1 time a day, which is usually is at nighttime, because in the morning I'm in a hurry. At nighttime he brushes his own teeth by himself, and the same way that we would. And I just kind of guide him, like, you forgot over here, you forgot here, you forgot there. So just that, like the hygiene as in that, and like he puts his deodorant on, puts the cap back on. Like, again, that's fine motor. Doesn't seem complex, but it can be, teaching somebody to do that. Oh, and the brushing the teeth thing was difficult because I had to teach him how to spit. And then he just started spitting other places for fun. But that's been another challenge, like a behavioral issue. He doesn't do that so often anymore, just like usually before bed, because he's like annoyed that he has to go to bed. And he doesn't yell anymore at all at bedtime, but he does sometimes spit, and then I have to get on to him about spitting in inappropriate timing. Anyways, I taught him brushing his teeth with the right amount of pressure. He learned how to spit. He learned how to put his deodorant on, put the cap back on. He's starting to learn new things, like putting his cologne on. He picks up his dirty clothes out of the bathroom, you know what I mean? That's more so part of, like, I would say, chores, So, like, I teach new chores each week, too. As in chores, there would be, like, teaching him how to, I'm still working on showing him how to wash his clothes, on a daily, not on a daily basis, but, like, more so, like, 2 or 3 times a week or whatever when his hamper is full. And then part of his chores during, like, our routine before bed, like, after hygiene, he picks up his clothes, his pull-up, you know what I'm saying, because he's going to change into another one even though it's not usually wet, just to be fresh before bedtime. And because he's pretty much potty trained except for at night when he's sleeping. So he picks up his dirty pull up, throws it in the trash can, picks up his dirty clothes, puts them in his hamper in his bedroom, picks up his shoes, puts them in the hanging shoe organizer that's on the inside of his closet, and he takes out his small trash can in the morning time out of his bedroom, replaces the bag. He helps me make his bed every single morning. So like, as you can see, each of these things I've taught him like one at a time. Very, very difficult. Also, like, life skills is a new thing that I try to teach, like one new thing a week, or as long as it takes him to learn it. Just simple things, cooking simple things like putting chicken nuggets in the oven, because they taste way better that way than compared to in the microwave, and like making sandwiches and stuff like that. Just simple things that will lead him to becoming self-sufficient and like independent, living an independent lifestyle as much as possible. So yeah, I do that still even throughout the school year, like the life skills thing, and teaching him a new chore. I still try to maintain it over the summertime. But yeah, basically I'm just sort of trying to teach, I guess, like what one would say, like common sense or whatever, in conjunction with the academic things that he's learning at school. And I'm sure they teach him like life skills and different types of independent living as well, So new extra things that I'm adding on to him though, because like this is talking about like new goals collectively for your autistic child, because a lot of people think that like autistic children aren't capable of learning, but that's just simply not true. It just takes like routine and repetition is all. It just takes a lot more repetition with those children that are on the spectrum, or those people that are on the spectrum. And once they get the hang of their routine though, like nowadays, since I've taught him like the things like when he gets off of school, the first thing he does is go in his room, he hangs up his backpack, he hangs up his backpack, he hangs up his coat if he has it, and then he gets his yoga ball out of his room, puts it down in front of the TV, and then he might go to the table and get a snack or a popsicle for the day if he was behaving himself at school, and then he'll go to his yoga ball after he's done with that, or if he doesn't have to go to the bathroom first anyways. He probably will go to the bathroom first though, and then he'll get on his yoga ball, watch cartoons if he's allowed to that day, if he behaved himself at school. And that's kind of what he does. I mean, we might go outside and jump on the trampoline a little bit, but it just depends. So anyways, like those things that he picked up, he really picks them up. Like he does those things more so, he sticks to them like ritual even more than I do. So which is good, because he can potentially be like somebody that achieves great things based off of the routines that he's being taught, because not everyone sticks to consistently to their routines, even like adults that are average developed. Anyways, for the summertime, the additional things that I would like to add is so for instance, I tried to get him on the track team at his school, but I guess they were overcrowded, and for some reason they wouldn't let him try out. So this summer I have every intention of, well, I already applied to register to be a coach, so I'm going to become a summer track coach this summer for special needs, and I am currently working on making the cards for that to pass them out to, there's like some connections I have that like friends from other schools that work in the special needs department, to get like a team together potentially, so that I can have like track practice like a couple times a week and stuff like that, and be able to sort of get him like I guess a portfolio going of like his times and whatnot, because he's a very talented runner. He's very athletic overall in general. He's just a bundle of pure energy, and just to occupy his summer, that's something else that I'm gonna add on to his routine too. as far as like track practice and things like that, to keep his brain going, you know, so that he's still tired at the end of the day. And anyways, I usually try to add just different outdoor activities on a daily basis, especially during the summer, which are like we have, like I said, trampoline. Um, we have soccer ball goals as like an idea floating around in there. Well, I used to have soccer ball goals. I'm gonna see if I still have them, but if I don't, I'm purchasing more soccer ball goals and the stakes to, you know, pin him down, and soccer ball, and I'm gonna practice that with him so that he can get more exercise in the daytime when he doesn't have like track potentially. I might sign him up for summertime gymnastics for kids with special needs. If track gets over with part of the summer, like it doesn't last, say for instance it doesn't last all summer, then the other part of it I will be signing him up for gymnastics. I might even try to keep him in that as long as that lasts. I don't know if it goes like year round or if it's just seasonal or what, but we will see. And I try to plan like at least one or maybe 2 nights a week where we do things like extra things like puzzles, just to keep his brain moving and things like that, or 1 night a week of family game night. We are currently working on learning the concept of slapjack, the card game, because it's very easy. You're just they put their card down, you put your card down, and just card down, and you see a jack, and you try to slap it. Be the quickest person, and then as soon as you have all the cards in your pile, you know, you win. But it's a pretty straightforward, simple game and concept of the game, so that's why I was thinking that I would teach him that first. He also loves Connect 4, because it's basically just taking turns and involves like pattern recognition or whatever. I try to also mix it up by like making a weekly trip to the park. I'm not sure how that will go in conjunction with track practice when that gets going. Hopefully it does get going. I'm not really sure all the way yet, but that's my intention. And I don't know, because we will probably practice at the park down the street from my house, I'm thinking. So the park's already there. I'm not sure if I will like keep that in, but that's what I did last summer, like a weekly or bi-weekly park visit. And then definitely fishing. Like Howard is a fisherman. He's a natural born fisherman like me. And yeah, like we do the fire pit and making s'mores because he loves them. He loves them. I try not to put too much sugar in his diet, so that's like a treat, like maybe a bi-weekly thing that we would do more so. I have a summer goal to get my dog registered. She's very, very smart. She's a very gifted, naturally intelligent, mostly submissive dog. So to be like a service animal, and so I want her to become registered as a service animal, and maybe I'll have to like incorporate a couple of things per day just to give her like more of a sense of a purpose, because sometimes she does misbehave when she doesn't have, because she doesn't like currently have that. But I feel like if she had like a sense of purpose, then maybe she would just like do those things versus just like go to sleep, eat, play. I probably wouldn't be happy if that was my whole life. And my dog is very smart, like smarter than the average dog. So I thought I would do that, and that would bring something for us all to be a part of as well. And I also thought I would bring my son along with me on my business endeavors, because since he's so good at routine, I thought I would give him like simple tasks, like sometimes taking out all the little trash cans is just like a whole 30 minutes or 45 minutes off my job duty anyway, and just having him help me with small things like wiping simple surfaces, not like ones that are like, take a lot of, but just to maintain his the dexterity that we've been working toward and the fine motor skills that we've been working toward. So these are just like a bunch of things collectively that I'm talking about that I really do feel like I've helped my son. as far as like even as much as like I didn't used to ever have him buckle his own safety belt. Now he just gets in the car and automatically does it. It took me like 2-3 weeks to work on that with him consistently and have those expectations in place. And even his dexterity was very low with that time, like worse. And he couldn't even pull his own belt to lock it in his safety belt. But now he just gets on and he's like, and he just click. And I'm very impressed by the way that he learned that and just sticks to it every time now. But I thought the business thing not only could help him with dexterity and continue helping him with this routine, but seeing other people's trash cans and knowing that they're the same, looking at other people's washing machines, because I'm starting to get him to press down on the knobs and like how different washing machines in comparison to ours are different, so that maybe he can get the whole idea like as a concept instead of just only being accustomed to one type of knob. I know it sounds silly, but like I did have him where he was heating up his own stuff in the microwave every time, but then that particular microwave broke and I got a different kind of microwave, and I didn't even think to myself like how the first microwave had the knob and the second microwave had the 1, 2, 3, the buttons, like the popcorn button and all those extra stuff. So it's just a thing of over a period of time that I'm thinking I'll just a well-rounded sense just continue teaching him while I'm at work already and I already have to do these things. Like he could do stuff to help, and not only that, but like sort of give him a glimpse of like ways to possibly like support himself financially in the future if he wants to be an entrepreneur or whatever. But so yeah, like also like maybe folding and putting away laundry, whenever I'm doing house cleaning jobs and whatnot. My goal also in totality is to get him to where he can fully clean his own house from like bottom to top, because a lot of people don't have that expectation for their children that are on the spectrum. They just do everything for them, and sometimes I do things like that in the moment to save time. Like in the morning times I brush his teeth for him because we ain't got time for all that. We have like 1 hour for 1 hour for you and 30 minutes for me to get ready for wherever I'm about to be, wherever I'm about to go. Sorry, my time constraint is making me talk so fast. But like independently taking care of himself, just in a well-rounded sense, cooking, cleaning for himself and things like that. In case like, because like I know a lot of people always have like home health and things like that, but just in case like worst comes to worst in life and people don't have resources to that all the time, or if something like God forbid should happen to me and I'm like literally the only person that he has, you know what I'm saying, that's just something that I think about in advance. But yeah, like I plan on uploading a short probably this evening. I don't want to quote myself. I don't want to like say something and then I don't end up doing it. But my goal tonight is to record him like putting away each individual thing so that you can see what I'm talking about. Like the because I know a lot of autistic children, even where I worked at before, like a long time ago, I worked at Shadow Mountain on the autism unit. And like a lot of these kids were completely verbal and they didn't even know how to like, or like their behavior was, I guess, less bothersome, right? Because they knew how to fully talk, things like that. But like a lot of them weren't even as routine in their independence, as my son is. So I'm pretty proud of like each and every little thing I taught him was like time and patience invested. It's just a lot more work than people think. So and then my audience specifically, if like you're looking this up, then I already know that you kind of know that, but it's also just to like show and give my audience hope that all these things are possible. It just takes time, patience, and it can be accomplished step by step. Like every little thing adds up. Like all the little things that I taught him one at a time, they add up to be the full thing eventually. And so that's what I keep operating off of. He's been pretty well behaved at school this whole time and at home for like the past like 2-3 weeks or whatever. Um, and then a lot more so within the past week or two that I switched to Gracie's Corner. His like overall demeanor, like I said, is very like much more calm instead of like yelling and just acting so hyper. But at the same time, like last night, he did like try to test me or whatever before bedtime, and when I was reading, he was like, because I always read him a story before bed, and we've been reading the children's Bible and a book called Watership Down, which is just a classic, a classic fiction novel, but it's sort of like it sort of reflects the times because I think that was a time of I think that book was written in a time of slavery, but don't quote me. It's sort of like like Uncle Remus and things like that. Those are like fairy tales and stuff, but they definitely accurately most of the time reflect whatever time that they're written in. So I wanted to read him a classic, and also like even though he might not understand like all the words or whatever of either of them, the Bible, the children's Bible that I'm reading him has pictures and things like that. So I'm trying to get him to understand what I'm talking about by showing him the pictures and things like that, and having him point to things. He follows along with me with his finger when he's reading and things like that. Like introducing him to like just vocabulary in the sense of like a story, just kind of pushing my expectation a little bit to where like I think that I have faith that he's going to get at some point. But anyways, yeah, he was pushing my little boundaries because I say, what are we supposed to be doing? And he says, like that, like being quiet. And he knows that because every time I say that, he puts his finger to his lips and then he's quiet after that. But he was not being quiet, so I just was like, okay, well, I guess you don't want a story tonight. Although he did well, like, all day yesterday until bedtime, and he was just too excited about the story that particular night, he just was being loud, and I was like, nope, no bedtime story for you. And then he whined about it a little bit and still went to sleep, but he was in a great mood this morning, so I guess we'll see here in about 10 minutes when he gets off the bus. But yeah, I just wanted to go over like some of the goals that I have for my child so that I could just be helpful in like, because sometimes it's hard to see what else to add, and so that's why I always like I try to write things down. I get ideas from other people, from other vlogs and things like that. I just try to go over where he's at and what he doesn't do independently, and like what's the next thing, just like they do at school, like academically and things like that, which I'm very grateful for. But anyways, I just wanted to post today, and I'm glad that I didn't really take as long as what I did last time. I'm hoping, but y'all have a blessed day, and just keep on investing in your spectrum, your kiddos on the spectrum, because they will accomplish big things in life. I really believe in them, and I believe in y'all as caregivers. Have a good day.